All right, 11:23 in the WHIP studios. Greg Frank and Tom Hanslin rolling with you until 12, where the Temple Sports Hour comes up next. A special guest in studio now, former Temple defensive end, potential first-round draft pick joining us in studio, Haason Reddick. Haason, thanks a lot for your time today. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just taking things day by day.
Yeah. So talk to me about your journey. I mean, you came here as a walk-on from Haddon Heights High School, a Camden native, and now you're a potential first-round draft pick. How do you sum everything up? What's everything that's happened with you here at Temple University?
Just hard work, man. Basically, from high school to get to this point here, it's just been hard work, dedication, countless hours of preparation, and just trying to be the best player that I can be.
What were your expectations when you got to Temple? You were a walk-on. When you got in this football program, what did you think you could do?
I didn't have expectations at the time. When I walked onto the team, it was just about making the team and trying to get on the field. I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect this. I was just trying to play football. By any means necessary, and that was the goal for me.
The last time we talked to you, I think it was December. It was before the Military Bowl and before the Senior Bowl, so you were still prepping for that. Obviously, time has passed. What has that experience been like, not only the Senior Bowl, but it was the Combine, prepping for the Combine, and then, of course, Temple's Pro Day? Look, we know you have the talent. We saw it on the game film. You know the stats. Is it nerve-wracking to go into a Combine like that, knowing that sometimes your talents aren't really showed the way you want them to be?
Whenever you prepare for something, you shouldn't be nervous. Like, I prepare hard for anything that I'm going to do, especially when I know it's going to come up, So when the Senior Bowl is, when the Combine is. So until it's time to, show what you have to perform on that stage, you prepare. And that's what I did. I prepared for 2 months out in Arizona at a facility called Exos. Worked out every day, 6 days a week, and just preparing and get ready to go to Combine and, blow everybody's minds, just to dominate Combine the way I did.
I already see right now you're wearing an Indy Sport shirt, Indy Sport hat. Yeah. I guess you have your HR initials. Yeah. So you're starting to brand yourself. What's that been like? What's that process been like?
It's a process, trying to get a clothing line up and running. It's kind of fun though. I would say, just seeing how everything works. Like you said, it's basically me. It's branded me. I wanted to do something that was my own. That way I can better expose myself to the public. So we getting right now the process of getting the website up and running right now. That way that people can go on the website and order the things that they want. But it's been a project, a brilliant one, and I think it's going to take off.
A lot of the talk around you in this whole process, Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Day, has been about your versatility and how you've played some stand-up linebacker. Now, of course, here at Temple, we saw you as that 4-3 defensive end, a really good pass rusher. So talk about just that willingness to kind of do whatever the teams ask you for. Is it maybe easier to embrace that mindset given your story of how you just got here as a walk-on?
Exactly. And it's just to sum it all up, it's just wanting to play football. I just want to play football. Is what I'm good at. Is what I love to do. If they asked me to play kicker, I would try my best to be the best kicker that I can be. And that's just the way it is. As long as I'm playing football, I'm happy. I'm satisfied, and this is what I want to do.
Before we go ahead, Greg.
There's a chance that you are the 4th first-round pick in Temple history. I mean, when you think about just having that Temple T on the map in the NFL nationally. For you to be kind of at the forefront of that is just the 4th first-round pick in the school's history. Just what's it mean to be that kind of representative of Temple University?
It's an honor, Not a lot of Temple guys have done it, and to be amongst those who have is an honor, to continue to represent the school in the right way, and just to be considered first round worthy, is a blessing. It's a blessing, especially coming down the road that I had, the path that I had to get here is all a blessing.
Is it scary? That has to be scary, right? To be a potential first-round pick. It has to be.
I wouldn't say scary. I would definitely say that it's a lot of expectations, you know. If not from the crowd, they're definitely coming from myself, you know. I have a lot of expectations of my own. I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish when I come in my first year. So I wouldn't say that it's scary, but it's definitely a lot of expectations.
So you have a good Twitter presence. I follow you on Twitter. I know you're trying to brand yourself, which is great. And then you're also involved. I've noticed some mock drafts. I've seen some retweets. What's it like trying to just take everything in? Because, look, there are thousands of mock drafts out there. They have you going to the Saints. They have you going to the Dolphins. They have you going there and there. What's it like to really just take all that information in? Because it seems like you're not ignoring it. Yeah. So what's it like to embrace all that information?
It's fun, you know. It's fun to see what, like, people think, you know. At the end of the day, it's all opinions, though. I don't let it go to my head, you know. It's somebody's opinion. But like I said, it's fun to see what people think, you know. No matter, I don't care what people think about me, but just to see, like, you know, some people think, how I would fit here or why I would fit here and what my talent. It's just all fun to me.
What were some of the interviews like with teams? Because I'm sure the athletic testing and some of that stuff, you know what's coming. You know what you're going to have to do. When you got in those interview rooms, were there things that kind of caught you off guard, questions you didn't expect?
Oh, man. You get a lot of crazy questions. Most of it is to see how you think, what type of person you are. That's the basis of the interviews, and also to see what type of football knowledge you have. You do get some crazy questions, though. Like one question I got, the craziest question I got was like, how long could you keep your eyes open without blinking? And then I was timed on it, and it was and I'm sitting here thinking, like, while I'm trying to do it, I'm sitting here thinking, like, what does this have to do with football?
Right, exactly.
But it was about fighting yourself, fighting and not give in. That's what the scout that asked me, that's what he said. It was about fighting not to give in. And it was a challenge. It was fun. You know, I did it like 10 times, trying to beat the time every time. Yeah. Even after I got done talking to him, I walked away still trying to count in my head, like, how many seconds could I hold?
What was your best time?
I did like either 37 or like 47 seconds.
Okay, that's
the record is 21 minutes.
So, do you like those? I mean, those questions aren't fair. And we've seen it in the past with these players, these top prospects. It can't be fair for you to, on the fly, to have an answer like that, because that's something you can't prep for that.
Right.
You can prep for going out on the field and showing what you're capable of doing, but that's not really fair, can it? It's not fair.
I mean, as long as you show honesty, you know, and you have nothing to hide, if you keep it all on the table, man, you'll be okay. It's nothing. The questions aren't SAT questions, you know. The questions are majority about you and things that really happen. So as long as you come in there with 100% honesty, you know, and you're just telling the truth and you're being you'll be all right.
Of course, another Temple player that is expected to get drafted in the first couple rounds is offensive lineman Dion Dawkins. We had Dion on here after the Senior Bowl. What's it been like just having that guy who obviously you went against a lot in practice over the years? What's it like to have that kind of guy kind of going through this process with you, a teammate, somebody you know really well?
Oh, man, it's great, you know, and it's not just Dion, you know. Even Dion, you got Jahai, you got, you know, Nate, Harrison. It's good to know that it's multiple of us that's going to go, you know, just because we want to represent the school so well. So for four of us, I think this is the, like, 4 people was the most that Temple ever had go to the combine to break a record like that, you know, or to achieve something like that. That's just is brilliant, you know, and it's beautiful. That's what I meant to say. It's a beautiful thing, and I wish all the guys that's from Temple, you know, going into this process, you know, the best of luck.
Haason Reddick talking to us here on WHIP Radio, all via the iHeartRadio app. So back to the combine. So we saw the video of your 40-yard dash time. I know you've seen it. The layers of Le'Veon Bell running, Mike Evans running, beating those times. You know, is that humbling? What's that like to see that publicity as well?
That I thought that was funny. You know, for them to put me on the Samu Cam like that. But
right.
It's like a poke and a tease. It's a fun thing. I really don't pay too much attention to it. You know, everybody in the NFL is fast, you know, so I don't let it go to my head. I remain humbled about it. You know, some of those guys have great game field speed, so I can't wait to get on the field next year with some of those guys and get to go against them.
Okay.
I'm going to ask about just the guys on last year's team that got drafted into the NFL. Tyler Matakevich, Tavon Young, Matt Ioannidis. Have you guys, not just you, but Dion, you mentioned Nate Hairston, Jahad Thomas. Have you guys what's the communication been like with them for any advice on this process? Has it been leaning on them at all?
Communication has been great, Especially I talk to Tavon and Ty a lot, especially about like the Senior Bowl and the combine process, and trying to pick their brains and getting a knowledge of what to expect. And they've opened, they always lended themselves to me, giving me as much knowledge as they can, wishing me the best of luck. And, text those guys, they still the same guys, they still the same guys as they were when they came to Temple. So I think that's the best thing right there. It's not like anybody's Hollywood. Like I text them and nobody texts back. I think that's the best part right there.
Now the draft will be in Philadelphia this April. So I'm sure you were having family going wherever the draft is, but are you going to expect to have a lot of family members attending this because it's so close to home?
So right now I'm still waiting on the invite. But if I do get the invite, we'll definitely be there, full family and attendant, and in attendance. This is a great milestone to my career, and my family will definitely be there to support.
And not just your family. I heard in your interview on The Fanatic, Coach Matt Rule called in and said he would come back too. So what does that mean to have him back?
It's great to see how he's, how we've kept connection. He came down to the combine as well to watch us, and I think that's beautiful to show what type of relationship a coach can have with his players, For him to come out and still show support after he's moved on to, somewhere else, it only shows, the love and the connection and what our relationship meant while he was here. So, if he does come back, I think that, I'll have a ticket for him, and that's beautiful.
By the time you're a professional, what do you want your relationship to be with this school still? Because like you just said, Rule still wants to give back to you guys, the guys that he recruited. What's your relationship going to be like with this Jeff Collins regime, with these players that are here right now?
It's going to be home, After being around the facility since I've been back, talking to Coach Collins and the new staff, they opened the doors and welcomed and were open arms, for the guys that were here last year that have moved on. And then, being around the campus, coming back to the games, I just expected to feel like home. I was born and raised 15 minutes away, and then I played here for 5 years. So, I think it'll be beautiful.
I have to ask you this. Last year when we talked to Tyler Matakevich, he grew up in Connecticut. We found out that he was a Jets fan growing up. And when we asked him, where would you like to go if you can pick a team? He's like, I don't care. I want to go anywhere. And I'm sure that's the answer for you as well.
Yeah.
Now, you're just from across the river, so I'm assuming you grew up an Eagles fan. Is that right?
I did grow up an Eagles fan. Back when they had Deuce Staley, I used to run the ball. I was a running back, and Deuce got traded to the Steelers, and I had unfortunately went with him. But like you said, now I'm a fan of all 32 teams, and I like no one team more than the other. So
would you like to stay close to home? I mean, you can't really pick and choose, but would you like to stay if that happens, or are you just excited to go anywhere?
If I did get to stay close to home, I think the best thing that will come from that is, that my family will be able to make more games, be able to come right to the home games. But whatever happens, it happens, and I'm going to make the best out of any situation where I end up.
And let's not forget that home for you, you're a South Jersey native, and I grew up in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Tom and I go back and forth. He grew up in North Jersey, and I know Dion grew up from Rahway, New Jersey. So we are the better part of Jersey.
Yes,
let's just set that straight. Okay,
yes,
South Jersey.
Well, I'll say one thing. I'm hoping you land 23rd because the Giants need a linebacker. I'm telling you right now. I'm crossing my fingers.
Haason Reddick, former Temple defensive end. Thanks a lot for joining us.
No problem,
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me out, man. Really, have fun. Appreciate it.
All right, best of luck to you. I said, now here's a sports update from Mike Carey. We'll be right back to wrap up the show.